As we can see, this is the main interface of Stylizer. It's not 100% done yet, but this is how it looks like. Mute and solo buttons should be added, as well as some graphical elements might be adjusted to make it look better. It consists of 16 channel strips, each of which has its own controllers and parameters that we will explain later in more details. In the middle of the interface, there is a white text. The text indicates the number of patch or style, as well as the speed of style in beat per minute, so in this case it indicates that this is patch number 2, as you can see here. And then the name is 8 beat, and the speed is 111 beat per minute. Below that text, there are buttons. They function as memory slots, or recall buttons, where you can load your favorite style and simply recall it with one click. These buttons come in handy on live stage, or whenever you want to change styles with one click. These buttons are fully automated through MIDI. The red LED below that has one function, which is indicating that the sequencer is running. I am going to press C1 to start the sequencer. Notice that the LED is on. There is a status bar below that. The function of that bar is to indicate the start, duration, and end of each part playing. It is just a graphical representation of the part being played. This is very useful on stage. It helps the player to know where and when to change parts and chords. On the same bar, the part name is displayed. The letters below that are parts abbreviations. Intro A, Intro B, Basic A, Basic B, Fill-in A, Fill-in B, Variation A, Variation B, End A, and End B. The LED for each shows which part is playing. Parts LEDs are not buttons, and clicking them won't do nothing. I am going to play some random parts to show parts LED indicators. Intro A, Basic B, Fill-in A, Variation A, and End A. The next section is Scale Selection option, where you can choose your favorite scale, and the style arrangement will follow that scale. If I click on the name of scale, a pop-up menu will open with names of programmed scales to select from. An example of that will be demonstrated in another video. Next option is Selecting Chords. You can select a chord from a list of pre-programmed chords. There is an option for free chord playing as well. Free chord playing is playing your own chords with your own fingers, exactly in the same manner as playing on a Ranger keyboard. The next option is Transposing Style Arrangement to certain key. I am going to select Basic A in this instance, and change the key from C to C sharp, or D, or D sharp. That can be done through selecting key from pop-up menu, or selecting using left-right arrows. The Enable Part option and the Select Part option goes together. These two options are made basically to loop the selected part. Enabling part will loop selected part forever, yet when an intro or a fill-in is pressed, it will finish playing and goes back to the selected part. In this instance, Basic A is selected, so I am going to enable part and play around with intros and fill-ins to show you how it will play them and goes back to the selected part. I can select whatever part I want to loop. The only two parts that won't loop are endings, simply because there is no point in looping an end part. The mode select option is where you can select scales or chords. If I choose scale mode, I can select a scale for my style. If I select a chord while in scale mode, chord selection will be inactive. In other words, I have to be in chord mode to select chords, and in scale mode to select scales. Beside that, there is an option to trigger parts keys. Those keys are the first 10 keys on the keyboard, starting from C1. They start the sequence of parts, so C1 starts intro A, and C#1 starts intro B, etc. This option is called part hold. The same option is available for chords. It's called chord hold. While chords are in free mode, you can play chords in a 2-octave zone, starting from C2. Chord and part hold are keys trigger options that are useful, in some cases, or whenever you don't want to keep your hands on keys. The master show hide option is simply used to show or hide the master section, where master volume, reverb, and delay can be controlled. In some cases, you might get a MIDI stuck note during transposing while Stylizer is running. A panic button is provided for that purpose.